Welcome back to the Crypto Saving Expert live news show, where we talk about the latest cryptocurrency news and look at the latest crypto prices to keep you up to date with the markets. So first of all, let's take a look at the Bitcoin price to see where we are today. Last night we broke back through that $17,000 level. We're at exactly $17,400 today, so it's a nice price to wake up to this morning. And also on the Ethereum price, we have the $1,280 level. So let's take a look at the charts here quickly. First, we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, and you can see we're up here. We've seen a nice green candle this morning, and this has kind of displaced all of the indicators because the MACD is showing huge bullish momentum, obviously, but the RSI is showing overbought. This is expected to be seen when we do see a big green candle like that. So now we may just see some sideways action over the next couple of hours. Hopefully we manage to hold this $17,000 level, and $17,500 level is huge, has seen a lot of speculation, and people are waiting to see if we manage to break through that or not. If not, people are tending to seem pretty bearish. That is a huge level that we want to try and overcome and break through. So that is our challenge for the day for Bitcoin. If you are watching this, make sure to drop some questions in the live chat down below, and then I'll be able to answer these questions at the end of the video. But for now, let's take a look at today's cryptocurrency news. So first of all, we have an article about SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX, the recent cryptocurrency exchange, which I'm sure you have all heard of, that stopped withdrawals a couple of weeks ago. So let's take a look at this article. Disgraced founder and former CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, told the BBC that he hopes to start a new business to make money to pay people back. Now, I'm not sure who would invest in this new business from Sam Bankman-Fried, but let's read a little bit further. The founder and former CEO of the collapsed FTX crypto exchange, Sam Bankman-Fried, invited a team of BBC journalists to his residential complex in the Bahamas. The BBC team was invited for a rare interview in which SBF shared that he had been thinking of solutions to make FTX users whole. I'm going to be thinking about how we can help the world, and if users haven't gotten much back, I'm going to be thinking about what I can do for them. And I think at the very least, I have a duty to FTX users to do right by them as best as I can. Now, I'm really not sure who would believe in this new business venture from SBF, but we'll find later on in today's video that this may not be something we will see in the future. But let's carry on with this article for now. When asked whether he intended to start a new venture to earn enough to pay back FTX users whose funds were locked on the exchange, he said, "I would give anything to be able to do that, and I'm trying to if I can." Now, further in this interview, the BBC interview also covered allegations that SBF knowingly misused customer funds by mingling them with Alameda's funds. He explained that he is aware of that. As CEO, he is single-handedly responsible for any mishandling of funds, but he did not knowingly commit fraud. And he stated, "I don't think I committed fraud. I didn't want any of this to happen. I was certainly not nearly as competent as I thought I was." Now, I think he's trying to play the victim a bit in this interview with BBC. Taking a final look at this article, there is possibly a time of prison time. There's possibility of prison time for SBF, but we are going to cover that in another article later in today's video, so stay tuned and make sure to like and subscribe if you like these morning news updates. We'll come back to SBF later on in today's video. Let's take a look at the next article now. Cardano's founder cites rumor that Ripple case might be settled this week. Now, this would be huge for cryptocurrency. If Ripple are able to win this case with the SEC, this will go forward and prove to other cryptocurrency companies that they can do the same, and maybe the SEC will press some lighter regulations on the industry when they know more and they have fought this battle and failed. So Cardano's founder has rumoured that the ongoing Ripple and SEC battle could be settled later this week. The year-long legal tussle between the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, or the SEC, and Ripple, the blockchain company behind the XRP community, could be ending this week, according to Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano. On December the 10th, Cardano founder disclosed to over 44,000 YouTube audience during an Ask Me Anything session Biden, he heard rumours that the ongoing Ripple and SEC lawsuits could be settled on December the 15th. So that is in 2 days, this Thursday. So let's keep our eyes peeled for that, and we'll keep that news covered on the live stream on Thursday, so make sure to tune in. And you can also go onto our YouTube channel now and press notify me so that you can get notified for that specific video if you would like to. However, Hoskinson warned that the case's outcome could have a catastrophic effect on the cryptocurrency industry. I have heard rumours that the Ripple case will be settled on December the 15th, and that could have catastrophic implications for the industry one way or the other. Now, this is true. People are looking up to this case and will use it as a base for future arguments between the SEC and the cryptocurrency industry. In spite of the outcome, the founder of Cardano believes that the decentralized ecosystem will continue to move forward, especially because it is controlled by the people and not the government agencies. Now, XRP has one of the strongest cryptocurrency communities that I have ever seen, especially on crypto Twitter. The XRP army is so strong. Moving on here, regardless of what happens, it's a decentralized ecosystem that you guys control. The United States of America doesn't get to say that Cardano lives or dies. You do, the world. That's the point of a decentralized ecosystem. Now, this is true. However, if regulations are put in place, it may scare some people from securing the network anymore, and it may become less, people will use it a little bit less if there are regulations in place against certain cryptocurrencies. Moving on here, so this argument is between whether it's the security or not, so that will depend on this. This case will set a stance for future cryptocurrencies. It's been nearly 2 years since the SEC filed a lawsuit against Ripple, precisely on December the 22nd. The regulator sued Ripple for allegedly raising almost $1.4 billion through the sale of XRP tokens in an unregistered securities offering. A settlement in the case has long been suspected by many. Fox Business previously reported that the lawsuit could be settled on November the 15th. However, a spokesperson for the Ripple later disputed the news. Many experts have also attempted to predict the outcome, and while Hoskinson warns of catastrophic implications, some, like the co-founder of Finder, Fred Schubaster, believe a settlement is bullish for XRP. It's a little counterintuitive, but when there's certainty, the price can go up. I actually think, regardless of who is deemed the winner, if they have a settlement, XRP will pump. Now, I actually remember when this case opened and the price of XRP absolutely plummeted, and all of us got wrecked that were XRP holders. And then a little bit of positive news came out, and the coin pumped again. I think this was about 6 months later, because it had been down for so long and people were just accumulating, and then we saw a nice big pump, but we unfortunately are back at those levels, and we have seen a couple of pumps for XRP over the period of time this lawsuit has been opened, but we will really see some volatility in the markets, I believe, when we hear what the final statement is for this settlement. Moving on to the next article, the US Department of Justice undecided on charging Binance and CZ with money laundering sanctions violations. So this is a news article that came out yesterday, and we've seen some tweets from CZ on Twitter about this as well. He's saying this is all FUD and not to believe it. But let's take a look at this article. So, prosecutors at the US Department of Justice are split on whether to press charges against Binance and its top executives, including CZ, on possible money laundering and sanction violations. Now, if these charges go ahead, this could have a huge effect on the cryptocurrency industry. And that is not me spreading FUD. We don't want to spread FUD here on this channel, but there is a lot of FUD going around about Binance right now, and we all need to be cautious. Hopefully it can be rectified, but let's take a look at this article. US Department prosecutors are split regarding the conclusion of a lengthy criminal investigation into Binance and its top executives. According to a Reuters, citing four people familiar with the matter, the investigations began in 2018 and focused on Binance's compliance with existing US anti-money laundering laws and sanctions. In particular, the charges under inquiry are unlicensed money transmission, money laundering, conspiracy, and criminal sanctions violations. So one group of prosecutors believe there is enough evidence to press charges. So this is actually an internal battle whether to press the charges or not. And Reuters adds that at least 6 federal prosecutors believe there is enough evidence to justify a swift, aggressive move against Binance and filing criminal charges against its top executives, including popular CEO CZ. The second batch of prosecutors believe more time is needed to review more evidence connected with the case. They're trying to build their argument before they decide to press these charges. Hopefully, when they look into this further, some sort of decision can be made that is less harmful for the cryptocurrency industry, because this could have a huge, huge effect. In addition, 3 Justice of Department offices are involved in the investigations: the Money Laundering and Asset Recovery Section, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Western District of Washington in Seattle, and the National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. That is an absolute mouthful. Existing regulations demand that money laundering charges against financial institutions be initiated and approved by officials at MLARS, top officials from the other 2 offices, and senior officials at the Department of Justice. So, an investigation into Binance could wobble an already weakening cryptocurrency industry. Obviously, we all know we are at the depth of a bear market right now. It is scheduled to recover soon, hopefully, when we see the next Bitcoin halving in March 2024, I believe it is. And usually we see a nice bull market when that occurs. So hopefully history repeats itself and we do see that nice big pump that we've seen in historic bull markets. But right now we are in the depth of a bear market. People are accumulating, but a lot of people have been wrecked over the last couple of months. So we've seen a lot of negative press in this period of time, which is expected in a bear market. We've seen FTX collapse, we've seen Celsius collapse, and we are seeing now FUD about Binance. Hopefully Binance stands strong, because this is the biggest company that has come under this much pressure so far. But this is just another negative news story about crypto. It's expected in the bear market. Hopefully this doesn't go as badly as FTX went. Moving on, BitMEX's Arthur Hayes believes a Bitcoin bottom is likely in. So Arthur Hayes believes that a Bitcoin bottom might be in as centralized lending firms, Bitcoin miners, and speculators have run out of Bitcoin to sell or have gone bankrupt. Now, that's a really horrible metric to look at, but it's very, very important. So Bitcoin miners create selling pressure when they mine Bitcoin. They sell that Bitcoin in order to pay for the electricity costs or the hardware that they've paid for. But if they've sold all of their Bitcoin, they can no longer contribute to that selling pressure. Also, centralized lending firms have gone bankrupt over recent months, so the selling pressure is going to decline. And when we don't have as much selling pressure and we have that buying pressure, it's down to supply and demand, and we are going to see that increase in price when that selling pressure begins to calm down. It's a horrible metric to look at, but it is very useful. Moving down this article, the founder and former CEO of BitMEX, Arthur Hayes, believes that Bitcoin might have found a bear market bottom. Mr. Hayes shares this insight into Bitcoin's price action in his most recent blog post, where he explained that 3 cohorts were forced to puke Bitcoin into the markets due to their use of leverage in trading or financing their operations. While I've messed up there, I'm going to quickly put out a tweet to remind people to check out this video. If you are enjoying this video, please like and subscribe, and also don't forget to put some questions in the live chat so that I can answer some questions at the end of today's video. Let me put out this tweet live now, and make sure, if you don't already, follow us on Twitter, Crypto Saving Expert, at Crypto Saving Exp, that is, so that you can stay up to date with the most recent cryptocurrency news, and over on Instagram as well. Back to the stream now. Moving on through this article, the 3 groups include centralized lending and trading firms, Bitcoin miners, and ordinary speculators. He added that they had misused leverage, whether it was in their business operating model or they used it to finance their trades, and this resulted in massive liquidations and bankruptcies. And clearly we have seen that over the last couple of months. He's completely correct. Now that the 3 groups are either liquidated or bankrupt, no more Bitcoin is being sold, thus marking a likely Bitcoin bottom. He said, "I believe that the forced selling of Bitcoin by centralized lending firms and miners is over. If you had to sell, you would have already done so. And there is no reason why they would hold on if you had an urgent need for fiat to remain a going concern, given that almost every major CEL has either ceased withdrawals, pointing to insolvency at best, or gone bankrupt. There are no more minor loans or collateral to be liquidated. So he believes that everybody in the cryptocurrency market now is here to stay. All of the weak hands that were going to sell for fear or were just in it for a quick money, they've already left the markets, they've already capitulated, taken their losses and left the cryptocurrency industry. And if that is correct, that means there's no more selling pressure left to be put on the cryptocurrency market and means we could see a nice pump for us all. And that we all deserve that at this point. It's been a rough ride for 2022. Moving through this article, Mr. Hayes acknowledged that he was not 100% sure whether this cycle's bottom was the recent. We've moved on down here to Arthur Hayes, who is the BitMEX founder. And he has said he has acknowledged that he was not 100% sure whether this cycle's bottom was the recent dip to the $15,400 to $15,900 range, but he was confident that the drop to these levels was due to the cessation of forced selling brought on by a credit contraction. He also speculated that the US Federal Reserve will again turn on the money printer in 2023 due to a dysfunction in its monetary policy, thus leading to a spike in Bitcoin's value and that of over-risk assets. He explained, "I don't know when or if the US Federal Reserve will start printing money again. However, I believe the US Treasury market will become dysfunctional at some point in 2023 due to the Fed's tightening monetary policies. At that point, I expect the Fed will turn the printer back on. And then, boom, shakalaka, Bitcoin and all other risk assets will spike higher again." It's not nice to see. We don't want to see huge amounts of inflation. It means a lot of difficulty for people. However, when we see that happen, we do usually see a little bit of a pump within the cryptocurrency market. So that's a metric to look out for. Moving on to the next article, Tron's Justin Sun deploys more capital after USDD depegs to 97 cents. So he's pledged to deploy more capital to stabilize the algorithmic stablecoin after it lost its $1 peg. Now, a lot of people have lost trust in algorithmic stablecoins after UST's complete depeg earlier this year. And then recently, yesterday, we saw USDD depeg as well. So you can see the chart for this here. It's been a rough couple of days since this article after it started to lose its peg to the $1 mark on December the 6th. The stablecoin has since continued to dip, hitting a low of 97 cents early Monday. Now, it's really unfortunate this because I understand the technology and I understand algorithmic stablecoins. They're trying to make a stablecoin that doesn't rely on centralized reserves, and that is a great idea because we are here for decentralization, but in practice we have seen that it's not as successful as we would have hoped for. Moving on through this article, USDD's instability has thus prompted Tron's founder and former CEO Justin Sun to tweet that he was deploying more capital to bring it back to the $1 mark. His tweet mimics a similar one made by Terra's Do Kwon back in May as UST began to collapse. He's tweeted deploying more capital, steady lads. He's completely copied Do Kwon's tweet from when that happened with the UST. Now, obviously he's trying to make a joke of this situation, but it's a very hard time because a lot of people that have that stable coin have just lost a huge amount of money straight off the bat without even entering a risky trade. It's not very nice to see. But Do Kwon's effort to save UST clearly did not work. Hopefully, Justin Sun can do something different and we see him succeed in this mission. The USDD situation might not get as severe as UST's collapse in May this year. According to the project's website, the algorithmic stablecoin is over-collateralized to a ratio of 200%. Furthermore, USDD's collateral is currently valued at $1.457 billion. And that is broken down in the following. We can see here, USDD had depegged in June and November. To note is that this is not the first time Tron's USDD has lost its $1 peg. Back in mid-June and during the aftershocks of Terra's collapse, USDD dropped to as low as 92.55 cents due to the crypto-wide anxiety surrounding stablecoins. And then from November the 10th to the 11th, USDD depegged once again to a low as 97 cents due to a suspected sell-off by the FTX-linked hedge fund Alameda Research, but Tron's Justin Sun quickly reassured the crypto community that all is well and good at USDD. I think probably Alameda just sold their USDD to cover the liquidity of FTX exchange. The pool currently is back with a healthy rate. And that is what we like to hear. We don't want to hear more negativity within the cryptocurrency market. We want some positive news. And moving on to the next article, Peer-to-peer exchange Paxful to delist Ethereum following FTX saga. So the American peer-to-peer trading platform Paxful is planning to delist Ethereum from its marketplace as the integrity of altcoins is reevaluated following the ignoble end of crypto exchange FTX. Now, we've done a bit long video here, so we're going to move on quickly from this article. We'll just cover that headline. And this is the article I think a lot of people have tuned into this video to see, so let's talk about this. The founder and former CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, has been arrested in the Bahamas. Now, the former billionaire SBF was arrested on Monday in the Bahamas based on criminal charges filed in the United States, according to the Office of the Attorney General of the Bahamas. SBF, a former millionaire, was previously recognized as a crypto genius. So SBF, actually, his beginning story is pretty interesting. He arbitrage traded across different countries and was able to make a huge amount of money in a very short period of time by arbitrage trading Bitcoin on in different countries. So he was quickly transformed into a crypto villain following the everyone believed he was a crypto genius, but that has quickly changed over the last couple of weeks, and he's been arrested by authorities in the Bahamas on Monday night due to criminal allegations brought by US prosecutors. As mentioned by the statement from the Attorney General of the Bahamas, the arrest of Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, has been detained by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. According to a statement from the Office of Attorney General of the Bahamas on December the 12th, the arrest came after a formal notification from the United States that the US has filed criminal charges against SBF, and that will probably ask for his extradition. I'm moving through this article here. Make sure if you want to read this whole article, then make sure to check out our Medium site at Crypto Saving Expert, but we're just skimming through this for now. The Justice Department has been looking into SBF activities ever since FTX, and one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges in the world collapsed and filed for bankruptcy protection on November the 11th. Federal prosecutors were closely examining how FTX handled customer funds, and the accusation that FTX transferred hundreds of millions of dollars from the US to the Bahamas around the time of the bankruptcy filing. Prosecutors are also reportedly investigating if Bankman-Fried orchestrated trades that caused the collapse of the Terra USD cryptocurrency earlier this year to manipulate the cryptocurrency markets. Separate from the incident, the Securities and Exchange Commission, which has also opened an investigation, announced Monday that the regulators had approved charges concerning Bankman alleged Fried's violations of security laws. Due to the sealed indictment, the charges were not immediately obvious. Regulators and the Justice Department are looking into whether FTX used client money to support dangerous bets at Bankman-Fried's fund, Alameda Research, according to prior reports from the Associated Press. So that would be if he actually gets charged for using client funds, that would be it would be astonishing, but it would be nice to see that he gets what he deserves for doing that. That is not okay to be done, and he was basically doing fractional reserve banking with cryptocurrency, which is what the banks do, but it's just not okay to do that on a centralized exchange. Anyway, taking a look at this, sources heard by the New York Times was the case and legal knowledge mentioned that the possible indictments could include money laundering, securities fraud conspiracy, wire fraud, and wire fraud conspiracy. The US attorneys of the Southern District of New York confirmed that Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested and mentioned that the indictment will be released on Tuesday. So that is today. As mentioned by the tweet from the US Attorney official page confirming SBF arrest, Sam Bankman-Fried was arrested earlier this evening in the Bahamas at the request of the American government, based on a sealed indictment brought by the SDNY. The indictment is scheduled to be unsealed on Tuesday morning, at which point authorities will have more to say. The arrest of SBF came one day after the US senators would be questioning Bankman-Fried on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. regarding FTX's tragic collapse. He's claimed he would be giving testimony in the House Financial Services Committee via video conference because he was very overbooked and worried about his safety going to Washington, D.C. hours before being arrested. In the statement made by the Attorney General of the Bahamas, Ryan Pinder KC, he also mentioned that as a result of the notification received and the material presented therewith, it was judged appropriate for the Attorneys General to seek SBF's arrest and hold him in custody under the Bahamas Nations Extradition Act. Ryan Pinder also mentioned that the Bahamas plans to process any formal extradition request as soon as it is made, in accordance with Bahamian law and its commitments under its treaty obligations to the United States. In his closing remarks, Prime Minister Davis said that the holding responsible any FTX associates who may have betrayed public confidence or violated the law in the interest of both the Bahamas and the United States. The Bahamas will continue its own regulation and criminal investigations into the demise of FTX, with the continued assistance of its law enforcement and regulatory allies in the US and internationally, while the US is pursuing criminal charges against SBF on an individual basis. The time for SBF to pay his crimes may have come. As US legal experts said to CNBC, SBF could be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of supervised release if the federal government presses accusations of wire fraud or bank fraud. It would be rare but not extraordinary to impose such a harsh penalty. For his huge Ponzi scheme mastermind, Bernie Madoff received a 150-year sentence, effectively a life sentence. So SBF could actually be charged with a life sentence after this whole fraud that's taken place within the FTX company, and that would be astonishing to see, really. Finally, we're looking back at this FUD that has been going towards Binance. Binance has paused USDC withdrawals to conduct a token swap involving BUSD. So over on Twitter again, CZ has been very active over the last couple of days trying to calm down the FUD that has been spread towards the centralized exchange. But he has said this is just an update that has taken place and that we were all aware of this. The largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, announced on Tuesday it has temporarily suspended withdrawals of Circle's stablecoin USDC, and this is because they are enabling them to facilitate a token swap involving its affiliation stablecoin BUSD amid an increase in withdrawal requests for USDC. So this is a planned change that is occurring, and it should, I believe, be completed by now. But there was a lot of FUD spread on Twitter that CZ was replying to because a lot of people were seeing this as a concern, but it looks like it should all be under control. And that's all of our news for today. Let me check the prices again, looking at CoinMarketCap. We have Bitcoin up at $17,423. $426. We've increased a couple of dollars since the start of this live stream. And Ethereum's up at $1,286. Look, I was just looking, I've not mentioned this yet in this video, at the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. And look, that's been a pretty steady chart as well. So that means Bitcoin hasn't really been outperforming Ethereum, and Ethereum hasn't really been outperforming Bitcoin. If I zoom out here, you can see we used to a lot more volatility in this chart, but it's been quite steady over the last couple of weeks. And finally, before we finish this video, I'm going to check the live chat to see if you have any questions. Hamzak says SBF deserved this. Yep, he's caused a lot of problems within the cryptocurrency industry, and now it looks like he's getting what he's deserved. Someone said the stream is falling slightly out of sync. I'll check that and make sure that doesn't happen again tomorrow, because I've only just seen that comment, sorry. I didn't fill my bags of XRP enough in the early days. Well, this is going to be a very volatile asset, I believe, over the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be cautious, but it will be interesting to see as the news roll out how the price reacts to that. And Bitcoin, let's break $17,500 yet. Let's hope so. That is a crucial level on the price chart right now. We are just playing underneath that level. We'll see if we break through that, hopefully throughout today. That seems like everything for today. John Chambers commented top chat. First message in the chat today. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed this video. And we will come back tomorrow to do more cryptocurrency news, keeping you up to date with the charts, making you aware of any future breakouts for Bitcoin, keeping you up to date with the news. It's important to stay up to date with the news so that you can understand what's happening within the cryptocurrency market, because it has been so volatile. Well, the prices, to be honest, haven't been volatile. The news has been volatile. And hopefully the prices begin to react in some way. And if we are going lower, hopefully we can get that over and done with so we can see the nice bull market that we all enjoy to be a part of. But that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe.